This is the brand new Boss ME-90, the successor of the very famous ME-80, which is one of the best-selling units of all the time. Is this ME-90 gonna be as successful as its predecessor? Let's find out. Let's now share the main features of the unit. It offers 11 amps and cabs with no tweakable mic simulations. The amps are dedicated to the electric guitar. It is worth noticing that the unit uses the so-called AIRD amplifier design technology of Boss that is supposed to recreate the interaction between a total amplifier setup, amp plus speaker section. As such, each amp model is recreated with its ideal speaker combination. This is the same philosophy followed by Boss for their flagship unit, like the Boss GT1000. In fact, in this unit you can basically find a subset of the amp simulations already available in the GT1000. The ME-90 offers the possibility to load third-party IRs in 3 user slots using a dedicated IR uploader that we can download from the Boss website. We have 10 effect blocks at our disposal, including the amp plus cab block, the external loop block and the expression pedal that can act as an effect, as we will see in few seconds. You cannot change the order of the block, and you cannot replicate many times the same effect block. The effects offered are around 60. Let's describe them. The first block is dedicated to compressors or special effects, like the octaver or the wah. Then we have 11 overdrives, distortions and fuzzes, with simulations of pedal like the Tube Screamer or the Boss Blues Overdrive, etc. Then we have the modulation effects with chorus, rotary, univibe, etc. We have 11 delays and 7 reverbs with room, hall and spring. And please notice that this supports the spillover function for delays. Lastly, I would mention that after the preamp block there is an EQ or FX2 that we can use for another delay or chorus or just the EQ. The unit works in two main modalities that you can access using the switch on the back of the unit, this one here. I mean, the unit can be paired with your amp, and in order to use it in this way you have to switch off the cab block, or it can be used standalone going in a mixing desk or an audio interface. This switch is used to decide which way you want to go. This is very important. In fact, the first time I switched on the unit, it was set up in guitar amp mode with the cabinet switched off, and obviously in this way it sounds very bad if you go straight into your audio interface. It took me a while to understand that I had to use this toggle switch. Furthermore, while using the unit, you can use it in full preset mode, so that the foot switches change the presets or the banks, or you can use the unit in the so-called manual mode, where the foot switches are associated to each effect. For instance, being able to switch on the delay or the modulation with the relevant foot switch. You can select the manual mode or the memory mode using the fourth foot switch. The foot switches are 8 in total, and the expression pedal is built in. The expression pedal can switch on and off the effect to which it is associated, like a wah-wah, pressing the toe end of the pedal itself. If it is off, it acts as a volume pedal. It offers 36 factory presets and 36 user ones for storing custom setups. The presets are organized in 9 banks of 4 patches each. The ME-90 has a tuner, no drum machine built in, and a 38 seconds mono looper. It has a double-digit little screen that shows the patches or a specific value of the parameter of the effects you may be editing. Obviously, the unit is designed to be used with the physical knobs, therefore the screen is just minimal. Coming to the I/O, it has a guitar input, unbalanced stereo outputs, and an headphone out, and a mono effect loop. It does not have MIDI ports, but you can control the unit using MIDI over USB. It has a USB Type-C port that supports audio, so that the ME-90 can be used as an audio interface. It offers 24 bits ADA conversion, 32-bit floating point processing, and 48 kHz. Therefore the converters are pretty good. The Boss Tone Studio for macOS or Windows allows us to organize patches, edit tones, and change out some amp or effects using alternative selections. I mean, there are some effects that can be selected only using the app, like the delay warp, delay twist or delay glitch. It is also possible to download Pro setups at Boss Tone Central and swap patches with the ME-90 community on Boss Tone Exchange. The ME-90 supports an optional Bluetooth adapter that can be used to stream music from a mobile device and wirelessly shape tones using the dedicated BTS editor app for iOS and Android. Let's now talk about latency. Well, also the ME-90 is among the best units available in the market. It stays at less than 1 millisecond even with the effects activated. I mean, it performs like the Boss GT1000 or the GX100. If you are interested in how it compares to other amp modeling pedalboards, you can check out the video where I compare the latency of 23 amp modelers, following the link in the card above. The dimensions are the ones shown in the screen, and it weighs 2.9 kilos. It requires a power supply at 9 volts and 190 milliamperes that is not included in the box, but you can also run the unit with 4 AA batteries included in the box that offer 6 hours of performance. This is pretty nice actually, a nicer option than I expected, as we will see in my 2 cents section of this video. The price is around 359 bucks and it is gonna be available since July the 6th, 2023. Let's now hear some more sounds. Now let's build together the tone I have used in the demo song of my demo review of this unit. I want a very responsive tone that cleans up and breaks up according to how strong or soft I push the strings. Then, as this tone will basically provide the backbone of my demo tune, I wanted it to provide with a nice ambient. And I wanted it to be somehow evocative, somehow melancholy, just like the song. The amp of choice is the Plexi, so it is the British Stack, which is one of the most touch-sensitive amp I know. How to set up the gain? Well, we have to find the edge of the breakup point, and it varies according to the guitar and the pickup you use. Here I'm using the guitar in the second position. For this unit the gain is around 11. Let's hear it. You can hear how it cleans up and breaks up nicely according to your touch. And now let's talk about the frequencies, because I want a glassy tone but that has not to be ear piercing. It is important to find the right spot for the high frequency. This is an important setting, and for me it's a little bit less than 12 o'clock. Let's set up everything at noon. If it is more than 12 o'clock, you hear that the tone is pretty ear-piercing. If it is too much less, it is too dark. So around a little bit less than 12 o'clock. So it retains its clarity, but it is not too much ear-piercing. Now, for the middle, I will say do whatever you want, but for the bass, I suggest to remove a little bit of bass. I know that we love bass frequency in our tone, that are punchy, but this tone has to fit well with the song and the whole mix. And the bass frequencies are the place where the bass guitar and the kick are located. And if you put there also your guitar, well, your mix is gonna be a mess. At least this is what I've learned. Now that we have a good basic tone, let's check out the effects. I don't want any compression. as I wanted a very touch-responsive tone. I will not use any chorus, as the idea is to record two tracks and then pump out them hard left and right in order to have a natural chorus, which I love. And then in order to have the melancholic and reminiscent tone that I want, we can play with the reverb and the delay. Let's start from the reverb. Here we have three reverbs. My favorite one would have been a plate reverb, and with this unit I ended up with a spring reverb, which sounds pretty nicely. It is important not to exaggerate with the reverb, otherwise the guitar gets lost in the mix. Let's put it in manual mode and activate the reverb. Okay, you can notice that the room one, I don't like it, too much intrusive. So the spring set to a pretty low value is the way to go, in my opinion. It's set in a way that you don't actually notice too much the reverb, but if you remove it, you are gonna notice it. I mean, you notice that something is missing. And now the delay. I have played with all the delays in this unit, but for the song I think this Terra Eco delay is perfect, especially for the comping tone I have in mind, and especially for this song. I would not have used this tone if the song was too much crowded, but here we have just this comping guitar tone and some acoustic guitars, therefore I think we can use even some more effects. And let's have a listen also to the delay. So notice this nice tails. Isn't it nice and perfect for the song? It is. And now let's check out the lead tone. Here I want something that has also to fit with my Paoletti Strat. I mean, the tone has to be fat but gentle at the same time. For this purpose I think that the XI gain amp is perfect, pushing it with some tube screamer overdrive in order to have a nice naturally compressed lead tone. Let's tune it a little bit. I would add some more treble and middle compared to the comping tone, still removing the bass frequencies that are the place where our bass, guitar and kick have to be. First of all, the gain has to be much more compared to the comping tone. I feel that I need more treble and more middle to push the tone of the guitar out of the mix, still removing the bass. And now let's push it with the tube screamer. Very nice in my opinion. Now here I want also to use some boss chorus, as I want to add a little bit more three-dimensionality to the tone, that has to let the chords, the distorted chords, shine, especially with lead tones. I love to use fat chords in my leading part, as I think they add a lot of power to my guitar playing and they allow me to, highlight the harmony. So here I set the unit to the chorus let's switch it on. And now the delay. You may be surprised to know that for the lead tone I typically use the delay in my digital audio workstation. That's because I think that the delay has to be set up only mixing the whole song, otherwise the risk is to use a delay that mess up your whole mix, and the lead tone risks to become confused and not clear. Therefore basically here I'm not using any delay and reverb. This is something I have learned over the years and an approach I follow even with much more expensive unit than this. I mean, in my opinion, the delay and reverb of the lead tone can be set properly only when you are mixing and refining the whole song. If you have too much delay or reverb, the guitar will become lost in the mix, or it will mess up your whole song. If your delay or reverb is too low, your guitar loses three-dimensionality. So it is crucial to set up it properly, as I was saying while mixing. And I think at the end that the result is pretty cool, especially when the solo starts. I think it fits perfectly with the tune. It is fat and gentle and very inspiring in my opinion. If there is something I think it is important to take into consideration is that you have to build your tone to properly fit with the song and not the other way around. Your tone is at the service of the tune and the emotions the tune and the artist want to transfer to the listener. Final considerations here, and please notice that these are gonna be my personal opinions for my specific use case, and of course you may not agree with me, and this is totally fine. Furthermore, Boss has sent me the ME-90 for free, but they are not asking me to say anything, and this video is not paid. Therefore, I'm free to tell you whatever I want. Furthermore, I am a long Boss effects user, and therefore I may be biased, even if I will try to be as much objective as possible. The first thing I would like to point out is that the ME-90 predecessor, I mean the ME-80, is still a pretty good selling unit after all these years since it was launched. In fact, if you check out the video I did about the best-selling units of 2022, the ME-80 was actually among the first 13 units, still after all these years. This means that this type of units with this design, with all these tactile knobs at our disposal, is appreciated by us guitarists. And in fact, I have to say that with this type of units, the process to find the right tone is somehow easier and more satisfying. Or at least it's similar to what we were used to do with our analog amps or pedals. Furthermore, with this unit I feel at home, as here there are basically the same amps tones available in the GT1000 or in the GX100. That are units that, as you know, I like. Actually, the GT1000 is among the first pedalboards I have purchased back in 2018. Therefore, I'm very used to its tones and the tones of this ME-90. Let's now talk a little bit about the pros and the cons. As regards the pros, I would mention obviously all the knobs at our disposal that provide us with easy operations, especially for those of us who are approaching these type of devices for the first time. This type of unit offer a pretty good way to jump into the digital amp world. Another pro is the possibility to run this unit with 4 AA batteries. At the beginning I thought it was an unnecessary option, but actually the more I use the unit battery powered, the more I like this approach. You put the battery into the unit and you don't have to deal anymore with the power cables, which is very nice and more handy than I expected. I think this is an idea that could be further explored. For instance, putting a rechargeable lithium battery inside these type of units, powering them via USB. How cool would it be? In terms of tone, as I said, I personally feel at home, as I found here many of the tones I actually use with the GT1000. For instance, the plexi tone I have used at the beginning of the demo song is pretty reactive and touch sensitive, and I love the Strat lead tone I have set up using the high gain amp. Furthermore, the effects are the ones we are used from Boss. Especially the chorus really recall me the chorus I used when I was young, which is very nice. And now the cons. I would mention the missing plate reverb and ping pong delays, which are effects that I use a lot. Maybe they will be added with future firmware upgrades, at least I hope so. Then there is a cons I would mention that is derived from the design philosophy of the unit. Let me explain. When you set up a preset and you store it, the preset memorizes all the settings of the unit. I mean, where the knobs are located. Obviously, if you change preset, the new preset typically has different values for each knob, but the knobs do not change accordingly, as they are not motorized. Let's say that you change preset and you want to reduce a little bit the gain. Well, you don't know where the gain knob was located, and therefore it's like resetting again the gain knob from scratch. As I said, this limitation derives directly from the design philosophy of this type of units, and I would suggest here some solution that we can apply or that can be implemented in future unit similar to this one. The first one is that instead of marking the knobs physically with the white line, we could add 10 LEDs around each knob that are going to be switched on or off according to the position of the knob itself. The second suggestion that you can actually apply even now would be that when you turn the knob, it does not work until you reach the position in which it was originally set up according to the preset. The third solution, and actually also this solution can be applied right now, is to check out the computer app or the phone app to know where the knobs were actually located according to the preset. I would not suggest here motorized knobs, that would be really nice, but I suppose pretty expensive. All in all, especially if you are a fan of Boss effect and you love the tactile experience provided by actual knobs, this is an easy buy, even because I think that the price is pretty fair at $350. The main contender I see here is the brand new NUX Trident that I have just reviewed in my channel. So well, a video comparison between the two units would be pretty interesting, isn't it? What's your opinions? Please let us know your precious and valuable opinions in the comment section below, so that together our community could help other guitarists to make the right purchase decision. These were my final 2 cents. We have now reached the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed, and if you did it, please subscribe to my channel, ring the notification bell and leave a thumb up. If you're interested in my IRs or in my Tonics profile, you can check out the links in the card above or description below, where there is also a link to a playlist of songs of mine. Thank you so much for watching and see you soon. Bye bye.